Hi everyone.
Welcome to Back to the Hobby. Please don't blame me for being late on these videos. There is a lot to do to develop this channel, and I am working on it. So, I'm giving you a 2-in-1 video, a figurine and its own rules. Enjoy! In this video, we're going to give ourselves a fun challenge. Let's see if we can create our own Grail monk, proudly brandishing his blessed triptych. We can draw inspiration from concept art and fans art. We can also look for inspiration in the Citadel figurine range, like these superb Cities of Sigmar Free Guild miniatures. But the scale is not quite the same. Of course, nowadays, with a 3D printer, we could create an incredible triptych, or even a complete Grail monk. But we want to make this Grail monk the old school way. Find the elements in a bits box, adapt them and glue them. In addition, we want to stay in the spirit of these old models so that our Grail monk fits perfectly into the ranks of the unit. This conversion must therefore remain accessible to all those who have just started a new old world bretonnian army, or who are in the process of removing their Warhammer Battle Fantasy army from their drawers. That's why we're going to look for a set of parts that's easy to find. We will therefore try to kitbash these different pieces to create a Grail monk. But before starting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to support the development of this channel. So what is our plan for our Grail monk? The first image that may come to mind concerning monks in the Middle Ages is a plump man in a cassock with a reddened face and wearing a tonsure. In short, a stereotype of friar tuck from Robin Hood, like Guy Le Gros from Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Let me know in the comments below what image or stereotype you have in mind for your Grail monk. This will undoubtedly be a starting point for your future conversion and your search for bits. Send me the photos of your future conversion. I will choose a few and I will edit them in my future videos. I will read each of your comments and messages with interest. For the monk figurine, unsurprisingly, we will start with the man-at-arms corresponding to this image. Round and reddened face, tonsure, a good belly hidden under his cassock adorned with a shield. This is the perfect character corresponding to the image we have just described. However, we will add a little dynamism to his pose. We will also make him a weapon corresponding to his build. To modify his pose, we will cut off his right arm and replace it with that of another bretonnian soldier. Be careful not to damage his collar or belly. We will also change the position of his right foot. For his weapon, we chose a huge one-handed mace. Its head has a point and hooks, the whole evoking the bretonnian symbol of the fleur-de-lis. Different elements have been added to our monk belt. A small bag and a cup, because our good monk is a kind of Epicurean. Feel free to include the elements you want attached to the belt or a backpack containing all kinds of food. Search and find the bits you want to add and enjoy. For the triptych, we have a lot of pieces that we can glue together. The starting point for the triptych will be the icon of the Lady of the Lake, found on the plastic sprue of the command of the bretonnian men-at-arms. But I find it a little small to embody a blessed triptych. We will therefore have to give it a setting so that this blessed triptych attracts the eye as much as a battle banner, which could be found next to it. The icon's case will consist of a shield from the Free Guild Riflemen of City of Sigmar, as will the pole to carry it. Flags, taken from the lances of the bretonnian knights in plastic, as well as small shields, parchments or ribbons will adorn the whole. We reworked the shield of the Free Guild Rifleman from City of Sigmar by cutting off its 2 feet. We also removed some internal elements so that the icon fits together perfectly. And that's it. Here is the result. Regarding the painting schemes, I started with very classic choices. For the skin tones, as I wanted a red face, I opted for a rat skin flesh base, darkened with Reichland flesh shade. Highlighting was done with intermediate mixes, including layer paint such as Best Eagle flesh and Kislev flesh. Painting of the cassock began with a base paint of X VU88 brown, followed by shading of Nuln oil. The layer paints, Baylor brown and Zamisi desert, were used to highlight the cassock. The transition from the base color to the highlights is always done with lighter colors gradually mixed with the previous one. Finally, the parts painted blue, and especially the shields, start with the application of the base paint, Kale the Sky. Shading is created with the shade, Drakenhof Nightshade. These blue areas are lightened by applying layer paints, Teklis Blue and Lothen Blue. These blue coats of arms obviously refer to the colors chosen for my lord, the Bretonnian Baron, Louis the Foolhardy. I'll talk about its history and the theme from which it all came in a future video. When it comes to figurine painting, I admit that I'm a little rusty. I actually stopped the hobby for 10 years. But it's coming back nicely. We will see this development in the coming weeks. Let's talk a little about the rules of this character. The Grail monk is a new Bretonnian men-at-arms unit champion and one more character. So that makes a staff of 4 characters. He costs 7 points and it has a possible improvement to 25 points with the Blessed Triptych. It thus confers the obstinate rule to the unit he fights with. He must be placed in the position of the unit's headquarters. That is to say, in the center of the first line of combat. He has 2 attacks and an initiative of 2, which will not allow him to strike first very often. But this brings the stubborn special rule. The latter, symbolized by the presence of the Blessed Triptych, ensures 2 things. An automatic success of the command test once per battle, and the folding in good order. 25 points may seem expensive for the Blessed Triptych in building an army. But for a unit of 25 or 30 men-at-arms, that's 1 point per model in the end. So it's like paying for a veteran or stubborn upgrade. It remains a potential choice to help hold the line if there are no heroes in the unit. However, he remains a prime target for enemy heroes who will not fail to attack the little monk. With his initiative of 2, he won't attack first. Once dead and the triptych destroyed, the stubborn special rule ceases to exist for the unit. The presence of the Grail monk can be combined with the special rule for men-at-arms Wall of Shields, accessible if the men-at-arms choose the lance and shield weaponry at the start of their melee phase. If they lose a fight, after being changed for the first time, once per game, they can give ground instead of retreating in good order, combined with the stubborn rule brought by the monk. This is ideal for holding the line and blocking enemy units while waiting for a charge from the Bretonnian knights. That's all folks for this video.
Until then, take care and see you soon.